Welcome back to another week of Fall 2024 tier list, and this is probably gonna be the last tier list that I do that'll be episodic. I know that a lot of animes have already ended, right? For example, Lore and Life has already ended, Rama has already ended, Dandadan as well, Talker, but not every one of these animes has ended, but like, I'll do one last, weekly episode, count, and then next week, or even like probably next Sunday, I'll do like a final overall fall 2024 tier list with my maybe ratings. And the ratings will definitely change. It fluctuates depending on honestly how I'm feeling. First up, well, we already covered Loner Life Isekai, but let's just put these shit in. Let's honestly just put the shit in. Let me just add another row actually, and we're gonna call row below and call the dropped trash. Yep. I'm gonna bring this down, bring it down, bring it down. It's gotta go above. And drop trash and color it I don't know why pink is gonna be that. And new? No, this is mid. Here we go. So, of the animes, Arifureta, we just watched Monday episode, but last week it didn't really air, so I'll put it probably down here for now. Rama has concluded, and I am disappointed with how it ended, because it's another cliffhanger and made me feel kind of really shitty about it. It was a great episode overall though, don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of frustrated that this is how we ended the season without any season 2 announcement or, release date in mind. I'm not sure if it's like a 2-core, if season 2 announcement's already been made, but any show that just ends like that, it just kills me. And yeah. Is Shampoo a poor girl? I think we're falling for Shampoo's tears and the puppy face because she's hot. If you think about what Shampoo's actually done to Rama and the family, it's kind of really fucked up. Anyways, I'll just put this in great tier. Dandadan as well. Episode was great. It was. It's just, I don't think it was peak by any means. It's a setup episode. It's literally brand new arc. We're getting into it. First half of the episode was, a little bit lingering plot from last week with, the love between the mannequins from the schools. The second part was, GG's arc finally starting, but it was very awkward and kind of where it ended. A lot of people are upset about it, as they should be. There's some retards that's saying this is the best possible ending it could have been, which blows my mind. And their thought process is it makes you want to go read the manga. If there is a little bit of truth of leaving people hanging on such a bombshell of a cliffhanger, that it makes people want to go read out the manga. Because at the end of the day, the anime is an advertisement for the manga, right? It is. Or the light novel, whatever source material it is. So, but for me, and I understand that manga, push for people to go check out the source material. Yeah, they're gonna do that. But for me, I can't do that. Because I need to do authentic blind reactions. If I know what's gonna happen, what's the fucking point of a reaction, to be honest? Reactions are fun sometimes after a show that there's a lot to discuss, and watching it for the second time really brings in more commentary and insight, but that's very rarely the case. So manga, source material, light novels, whatever, I can't check it out. You guys go have fun with that shit. We'll be waiting until summer. Next up, Talker had a finale last week, yeah. It was also honestly a great episode. It was. I loved how they handled the backstabbing and betrayal. It turned out in a very wholesome way. We made two boyfriends fight each other, but also gave them closure. And plot twist, we actually got the blonde dude on our team. I guess that was the goal from the fucking beginning. Then the second half of the episode was just, what was it? It felt really rushed. Out of nowhere, we're just fighting a really high level threat. And I'm like, oh okay. It was a pretty good conclusion though. Left me satisfied, right? Left me satisfied. There was no cliffhanger. It also hints at possible new shit happening in the future. I hope that there is a season 2 for this. I genuinely do. This is a very interesting anime where the main character again is not some white knight self-righteous, loser that just is a pussy. This guy, Noel, he's a demon. And I love it when you have a character that's willing to deal evil with evil while being aware of what he's actually doing. Love the guy. Next episode, Danmachi. I'm putting a peek. Yep, I am. Biased, very biased pick. War Games finally started. There was a crazy fucking scene with the healer that got scorched up, which also gave her an opportunity to become naked and start fighting. Auto heal on. She was badass. She was so badass. Bell versus Otar. We got ragdolled. It was fucking crazy. What else happened? A lot of other characters also having some highlights with, you know, magic swords being used. Danmachi is just a personal bias for me. I love the show and I love currently the direction with the war games. A lot of people are actually upset. They think that like they hate the way that it just devolved into an Unga Bunga fight, but it's just like, this is just cherry on top for me. I love how they did all of, you know, Freya, Seer, Horn, you know, mystery shit leading up to this and then saying trial by combat, motherfucker. War games me to end the show. Unfortunately, this might be the last episode we see of the season. Not because I'm dropping it, but because JC staff, they got production issues. If you haven't heard, there's an indefinite hiatus on next episode. Indefinite as in, we don't know when it's coming back. Could be next week. Could be 2 weeks. Could be 2 months from now. Your guess is as good as mine. Womp womp. Mao 2099. Most recent episode? Honestly, there's a lot of fucking great episodes, man. There are. Hizuki backstory? Very sad. But the plot twist. With not just the headmistress, but Maguro. Oh my god, bro. Maguro, the one that was in front of us that we were shitting on the entire time. She was it, man. The plot twist was pretty fun. Sucks for Hizuki. Hizuki and, you know, Mao-sama had like a little fucking bath scene too. And my god, Nelty being resurrected with the Hizuki hips. Jesus Christ. Next episode should be pretty cool. I'm not gonna expect like crazy animation quality, but Mao 2099 has been a very fun watch. A solid like, I wouldn't say A tier anime or like S tier. It's kind of like B tier. Definitely like above average, like a 7 point something out of 10 so far, but it's really fun. It really is fun to watch. Next up, villainous anime. The villainous anime, most recent episode was good. There's a lot in great right now. Maybe well, they were though. This is a great episode. It's just the way that it ended that just kind of pissed me off. This was fun. This was too. It's just like everything is just gearing up till the end. Villainous, let's think about it. We called out Liz on her bullshit, and she acted as if she's been corrected, but I think that she's still starting shit. I think she is. It's not over yet. The drama is still going. Today's episode, we'll probably watch it tonight, this morning actually. Today's episode, I'm not sure if it's the finale, but they'll probably handle whatever Liz is doing and we'll probably be exiled and go somewhere else. Next up, Do-Over Damsel. I'm sorry, I'm dropping this. I'm dropping it twice. The first time I dropped it is because it's not really performing well. What does that mean? It means that my audience doesn't give a fuck about Do-Over Damsel. Alright. If I personally enjoyed it though, I would continue, like some of the other shows that I keep on. This show is so fucking trash in the way that it does storytelling. The story is fine, but they had a genius idea of, rather than trying to adapt this in a concise way, let's just incorporate every fucking dialogue from the source material at 4x speed and just shove it down the audience's throats. This show gets heavily carried by the sus slice of life moments, but that's pretty much it. I hate how they do storytelling here, bro. And the only way to actually appreciate the story is if you pause and read this show like a fucking book, frame by frame. And no, this is not a skill issue. This is not me saying the show is too big brain to figure out. We're literally watching Apothecary Diaries and Steins Gate right now, and I'm doing perfectly fine with this show. This show, and this is from a guy that literally pauses so much that people on YouTube write hate comments saying just play the fucking video. Even I think this is ridiculous. I don't want to fucking pause and, you know, dissect every fucking story point. The way that it does storytelling is fucking garbage, utter trash. Doesn't mean that JC Staff is a bad studio. This is just a third tier fucking priority show. Remember, JC Staff's main priority is Danmachi. Then I think it's Mao 2099. I think there's a clear difference in quality. And then there's also a different breakpoint from Mao 2099 and Damsel. So it's just, I just can't with this fucking show. Speaking of other shows that we've dropped, Blue Box was because, again, copyright. Had nothing to do with my enjoyment or the performance of the show. Copyright issues, TMS Entertainment, go blame them. Paladin, I dropped because I thought it was pretty fucking mid. and my audience didn't really seem to care about it that much either. I also dropped this show because it's just fucking mid. Also, no one really cared about it. Dragon Ball Daima, same shit. Same shit. Oh, sorry, not Paladin. I keep calling this Paladin. This is a healer who got banished. This one, Dragon Ball Daima, same shit. The production value of it's good by all means, but this is not Dragon Ball Z or Super that I wanted. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a mismatch of the audience. I think the show looks pretty, but like, goddamn, it's a fucking snooze fest for me personally. Orb, from the beginning, my audience never cared about this show. It was heavily carried by the Japanese tourist, as I've shown you time after time in the performance review videos. Once the plot twist happened, the Japanese audience were very frustrated that the main character changed, and ever since then, they didn't give a fuck about Orb anymore. And therefore, I also dropped it. There's just like, my audience don't care, the tourists don't care, it's a failed project. Doesn't mean the anime is bad though. It doesn't. I'm just talking purely from like a business strategy perspective. It's a great anime. Tower of God, so fucking ass I can't bear to watch it, bro. Half the time I'm trying to be enthusiastic about it, but I can only do so much. It's the same feeling with Damsel, bro. These two shows I'm watching, and then back in my head, rather than commentating and thinking insightful things to, talk about the show, because how fucking boring and mid it is, I just can't. In my head, I'm thinking I could be watching something else. I could be watching Railgun right now. I could be watching Apothecary Diaries, Steins Gate. Shows that my community voted for and are actively waiting for. Why the fuck am I wasting time watching this fucking garbage, bro? For the sake of completionism? Fuck that shit. I don't care if the most recent episodes are better. I will never watch this shit again. 7 out of 10? This is not a 7 out of 10. This is a fucking 5 point something out of 10. Same with this one. These two shows are fucking trash. Next up? Oh, ReZero. It's not airing anymore. What do you want me to do? We're waiting for the next fucking season. This one? This is an interesting scenario, kind of similar to Dragon Ball Daima, where again, the production value I think is pretty good. It's a pretty show. It is. They do a lot of cool, animations there. But animation can only go so far when the story is so fucking boring, and the romance feels so forced where it's just trauma dumping the entire time. Meh, don't want it. Appraisal Isekai? Unfortunate situation where I personally enjoy the story, but not enough for me to just stretch it out where people don't care about it. People don't care about this show. They never really did in Season 1 either. It was a very low-performing show since Season 1 as well. In Season 2, obviously, the more seasons there are, you get more filtered-out audiences, right? It's just how that shit works. The more seasons you watch, inevitably, less people are going to be following through to the seasons, and it was already low-performing. What do you expect? I think it's a pretty decent show, though. I think it's a pretty decent show. I'd rate this shit like 7 out of 10. Again, Arifureta didn't have an episode last week. Loner Life Isekai? Already ended. I think that we already did the rating for this, right? But this one, again, same rating. Great. It was a great episode. We suffered through the fucking dungeon bullshit so that we could get Angelica slice of life moments, honeymoon episode. It was great. It was very wholesome. It was very cute. Blue Lock, most recent episode, probably. No, I think it makes it into great. I think it does. It was Slide Lock again. They definitely, in terms of my personal enjoyment though, I did enjoy this more than anything else though, because the story's so fucking hype and I naturally prefer sports animes. Blue Lock was actually really hype, but obviously Slide Lock was very apparent. Compared to the previous 2 episodes, the quality drop is so noticeable. There were some key moments. Reo trapping, the ball and doing Nagi movement was pretty cool. Gagamaru had a great moment as well. Baro, kind of mid the more I think about it, but it was still really hype. The ending, Baro Kyun with the Moe fucking maid service, I don't know where the hell that came from again. We had maid Baro in the past, but goddamn, that shit fucking surprised me. It was okay. I think the next week episode though, it should be peak. I'm hoping it is. If it's not, then people are gonna have a very bad impression of, Blue Lock. Spirit Chronicles? I gotta do it. One time for the fans. One time for the fans, fuck it! I put this shit up there, even though it probably shouldn't be up there. I'm just letting you know, it doesn't deserve to be in peak. It doesn't. By all means, but it's a fan-funded project. The production value is very limited. It's a fan-funded project. I really enjoyed the Lucius versus, Haruto fight though. It was really fun. The animation is very lackluster, absolutely. It's a mid-fight in terms of production value. But It's like the revenge moment, the humiliation. You know, Race got away. Flora's still not farting. It's, again, a ridiculous rating. I know how bizarre putting Danmachi and these two up here, but these are very selective biases. I need you to understand this. Realistically, this should be like here. Realistically, this should also be down here. But I'm just putting this shit up there one time for the fans. Fuck it. I'm just putting that shit up there. Doesn't deserve it. I don't care. And finally, Grieving Souls. The finale? It was very entertaining. It was. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a very fun episode, man. It's a very fun episode, man. I don't know, something like Grieving Souls, man. Like, the more I watch it, the more I get into it. In the beginning, again, I was very pissed off of how absurd and stupid everyone was, you know, and that's the whole punchline. The punchline is everyone glazing Cry, even though Cry is like an incompetent clown, while his friends are also just demons and just trash and shitty people. But the more you watch it, the more you get into it. Stray literally fucking poisoned Arnold's group. That's so fucked up. The funniest part about this, again, is that the good guys are the bad guys, man. And the bad guys are the good guys. Like, what I mean by that is Cry and Liz and Stray, they're terrible people, bro. Cry is a fucking relic addict. And it's very funny how he was constantly looking at Tino and saying, come on, you want me to do this, Tino? Can you want me to do this, Tino? That was actually pretty funny. Cry has been always, you know, incompetent. He's a bumbling fool. Liz is a fucking terrible person in the way that she treats Tino. Poor Tino, man. The Tino abuse is unreal. Stray might be more evil than both of them. You know, actually, not even Cry's not evil. Stray might be even more maniacal than fucking Liz. But that's the fun part. That the good guys are the terrible people, and like the bad people who should be the antagonists, right? The bad people, like Arnold and them. Yo, every like NPC or like, you know, bad people, like the antagonists that show up, they're like the most reasonable people. They're like the most reasonable and like relatable people who just call us up on Cry's bullshit and say, nah, Senpai Banka's a fraud. What are you talking about? And that formula, I'm really used to it now. It was an acquired taste. It was actually so fucking fun. The whole auction bullshit, you know, everyone thinking like, oh my god, he didn't even bid. He's trying to show us a lesson. The mask telling, you know, everyone that, holy shit, Cry is such an incompetent fool that the kid was more qualified, just deactivated. It was a very fun anime overall. It was. Solid 7.5 out of 10 minimum, I'd say. I'm excited for season 2. I heard it was announced as well. Now, is that it? That's pretty much it. Arifureta, again, it's still going. The last episode was a hiatus. Today's episode, I'll just do a little early, you know, advanced, you know, tier list because we've already seen this today. I put this shit here or here. There's a lot of funny slice of life moments today with the bunny killing, the Shizuku fan service. But we'll just leave it down here for now. And that's pretty much it. This is the tier list for the most recent episodes. And yes, I'm crazy for putting Spirit Chronicles up there. I know I am, but come on. One time for the fans. It's a fan-funded project. It was a pop-off episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of these episodes were indeed very great. Villainous, I don't think was quite up there, but I'm sure maybe today's episode will be. And that's pretty much it. Next week, I'll probably just do like a final tier list rather than doing like an episodic tier list. And we'll just rate every anime for fall 2024 of how I think, you know, it performed. And that's it for me. See you next time.